Welcome to another Quantum Conversation. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome. We have another episode in our Timeline Summit series. This is creating the highest benevolent outcomes. And today we are with a beautiful healer and someone who is constantly reminded the power of being in the heart, returning to the power and the essence of Source. Sherry Bradshaw is here with us, and she is a Reiki master practitioner and an intergalactic healer. She is an energy codes coach, empowerment coach, and a Ho'oponopono practitioner. We're talking about returning with the pure essence of Source. Sherry Lynn, hi, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Loren. It is so nice to be here with you, and hello, everybody.
So this is really interesting as we're talking about timelines. It fits in perfectly with what you teach about and what your awareness is all about, returning to this pure essence of Source. Can you explain how that alignment affects our timelines?
Oh, wow. It's huge, right? I mean, it's a total quantum shift in what we see in our reality. And I only know from myself what I experienced before and who I was before and who I am today. And there is no comparison. And so the only difference that I know is that dropping into the heart and feeling the connection of the divine. And it was a journey getting there. It took some time, but it was only because of my beliefs that that it was separate, that Source was separate from me. And so, for those that are open and willing to, like, what if this could be true? It can happen so quickly. It's just sometimes we need the mind to it's like, okay, what if this is true? And so for me, it was a journey of uh, many little mini things falling apart, collapsing, and some would call them crisis. And those are all little initiations. And there's an invitation. And in those invitations, we get to choose which timeline, I guess you could say, that we're going to enter. And so for me, it took a lot of things falling apart. And finally, when my eyes no longer wanted to cooperate and I couldn't see externally very well, I went on the inner journey. It was the sort of life gifting me, but at the time it didn't feel like a gift, but it was. So, what had happened was I remember connecting with energy, taking Reiki, because my dad, through a medium reading, said, look into energy work.
This is your
And
dad who had passed, transitioned.
yes, yes,
So you went to a medium.
yes,
It opened up a whole new world for you.
it did. And so my dad has been guiding me all along, even though he's no longer in this physical world, he's still very much present. Yeah, tears every time.
That's so beautiful. We can feel him as well. And I just want to say that I hope that others who have lost loved ones can feel your connection with your dad.
Mhm,
And hopefully they can feel the connection that's eternal with their loved ones. It's
mhm,
never easy, but there is some comfort that could come from that. And so thank you for sharing that
mhm,
journey. So this notion of dropping into the heart and being connected to the divine,
mhm,
it's empowering and inspiring for all of us because people who are watching and listening to this get that. And we're definitely on this path. And it could be a natural progression for people to want to be in the heart, follow the heart, But then this notion of timelines, creating from a heart-based timeline, it's almost as if we're always going to be supported. Do you get that sense that there's great support when we do that?
Yes, I can only share from my experience if you want to hear another. It's a story. Okay, so um, I told you that this shift in entering a whole new realm of me and experiencing myself as sacred um, was a journey, and part of it was forgiveness. And so I remember at the time, I think it was around the same time my eye, the tear in the outer world not making sense. And so I had, of course, I was married previously, and it wasn't a very healthy relationship. And there was a lot of, I was clinging and holding, and just because of life, because of certain events with my daughter and stuff like that, I was angry, really angry. And, but what happened is my heart started to soften, not fully open yet. I realized that, and it was through meditation, but the meditation, the form that I used was, and I talk about this, and I share it with everybody, is that song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. It's like my mantra. It is something that brings me to the heart every single time because there's that line, and let it begin with me. And when we really feel that, when we really own that and say, yes, let peace begin with me, you cannot hold peace and be angry at the same time. And so I was dropping into my heart, and then I could bring in my ex and forgive him and bless him and wish him well. And, my mind would have never done it. And so through all of these little miracle moments, I started to experience my life as sacred. I started to see that life was guiding me always. I just needed to have maybe the eyes of the heart to see it, to feel it, to know, to believe, and to surrender. And so it was a process. But yes, when we are willing to sort of surrender to the old, to the clinging and the grasping of the ideas and the way we feel it should happen, and there's an energy within us that always knows it's not separate. And so there's that instant shift in consciousness. And you don't try to do anything other than truly align yourself to the heart, to the soul, to being the best version of yourself you can be in every single moment. And then when we splat, that's okay. It's okay because it's all teaching us something. There's something in it for us. And so, there's this unfolding, and you don't really know how it happens because there's so many shifts, at least for me. And then suddenly you look at yourself and it's like, I know I'm different. And yet to the external world, well, now they might say I'm different because because of how I show up. But before that, they would have seen me as the same, and yet I wasn't.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I answered you. I have no idea, but
Absolutely. Everything that you say is a transmission of loving energy. All right. Well, really good work on the forgiveness piece. And the Ho'oponopono is a forgiveness prayer. And as we're talking timelines, it's really interesting because you're talking about the little tiny shifts. The little tiny shifts are what change our timelines. So if we're coming from a vibrational field of heart-centeredness, we are going to be attracting beautiful things to us and making a reality that is beautiful. And I love how you said peace begins with me, or you. Peace begins within. Peace begins with me. When we say that, when we hold it, you can feel the energy of it. And that is almost as powerful as the Ho'oponopono. And so since you're a practitioner in the Ho'oponopono, which is Four beautiful phrases, so simple phrases. Thank you. I love you. Forgive me. I'm sorry. That is really important for our world and shifting an immediate timeline. I've actually got stories of using it in my words to people out, strangers, neighbors, loved ones, and I can instantly watch the shift. Can you talk about the Ho'oponopono and how it literally dissolves discourse, discord, distortions,
Mhm.
and negative feelings, and it aligns us? What's going on? What do you think?
That's a good, what do I think? Because who knows really what's going on, but I think what's going on is within us. You know how Dr. E. Hiliaki Hugh Lin, he never saw one of the patients, and yet he would take their files and he would notice what in him was getting triggered. So it's the same as us. So when we are out and about and we're interacting with people or we witness something, something in us gets triggered. And so that's when we bring those four phrases in whatever order we want them to go. But it's healing within us. And we think it's healing outside, something about them, but really that they're mirroring. There's a point where we realize that everything on the outside is simply a reflection of what we are working on, conscious or unconscious. And
Mm,
so it allows us. So I'm sorry is really to our inner divinity. It's not even about the other person. It's about, I'm sorry that I forgot I am this divine being. Please forgive me for whatever I just did. I said, or, however I showed up that wasn't in alignment with that divinity. And I love you. I love all these aspects of my divine self, the essence of who I really am as soul, as the divine spark. And thank you. Thank you for guiding me. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you. So this person no longer feels because we attached to that. There's something in us that was triggered. And see, the thing about Ho'oponopono is we forget that this has to do with lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of being separated from source. So all of these things are bringing us back to source, to wholeness, to love. That's how I see it. Sometimes it's hard to do it though, right? Because we get in the mind, and it's really hard when we witness something that we forget that everybody has forgotten. We've all forgotten. And so now we're just wishing and blessing and we're leading each other back home. And Ho'oponopono does that.
yes, it's so beautiful. And I just want to share as I learned the power of it. I mean, I was a student of it, read it, learned about it. It's very Lemurian, it's Hawaiian, and it is total aloha. It is the honoring of our words and what we speak and how we use our breath. And one time I was in a situation with a relationship, someone very close to me. And at first, I mean, my higher self said, say the Ho'oponopono. Communications were shut down. It was really tense. And I heard, say the Ho'oponopono. My ego mind rejected that at first, fought back,
Mm.
and said, well, wait, why do I have to say I'm sorry? But I did it anyway. And to watch the transformation set me off on a path that timeline was absolutely changed. That timeline that could have gone way haywire was totally changed and course corrected, I want to say.
Mm.
So I love the work that you do with the Ho'oponopono. And I reiterate to everyone watching, use those four phrases, as you said, in any order, weave them into your words. What are other ways that people can do it? Because this can be, you mentioned Hugh Lynn, Dr. Hugh Lynn. He didn't even see his patients. He didn't know the patients, but he looked at their files
Yeah.
and spoke those words to their energetic hologram, if you will. So
Yes.
that speaks volumes, right? So what
Right.
are other ways that people can use the Ho'oponopono in their life without speaking it
Well,
out
we're
loud?
talking about feelings, right? And so everything us leading into a higher vibrational experience of ourselves, like peace, you said that even that song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and you could feel the peace. It's the same. And so instead of saying the words, it's like dropping into love in the moment and compassion. Because really, Ho'oponopono is about compassion, not only for the other, but about ourselves. But like, I just got hijacked, I guess. And you talk about the choice point. And Carolyn Mace, I loved her teachings. She used to trigger me though, huge, because she'd say, don't ever take anything personal. It's like at the time when I was going through a lot of healing, it's like, what do you mean? You know, because I'd be like looking at the exterior. And yet every single moment that we have this, so Ho'oponopono, if we take the time to feel it, we've just shifted. We could have gone into victim mindset, which is really a vibration, right? So it's not so much what we're thinking, it's a vibration. It changes our field. And so it changes, if we stay in that, it will change our experiences. We will attract more of what we don't want, not understanding that that energy, that consciousness has now shifted for us, changed our auric or energy field. And I use my hands a lot when I do this stuff because I'm working with that too. But so when we intentionally, because we're creators, so we have to pause because the other part of us, the personal self, is going to stay on that timeline, is going to stay with what just happened. So Ho'oponopono is what is it? Like it's almost like a prayer. It's almost like you're pausing. It's almost like the breath, pausing with breath and feeling the breath that breathes you, breathes me, is spirit. And so connecting, and then you just shifted. You just made the intentional, um, you set the intention to pause and course correct. And that just changed your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that powerful. And it's not so much about the words, because they are powerful, but it's about us and how we show up in the expression. Because it's like prayer, right? I never grew up in a religious environment at all, but I know that Lord's Prayer, and it's like just reciting words that mean nothing. But when you hold those words and you feel them, you're changing your vibration. So you're changing your experience. So you just put yourself on a new timeline.
I love that. You really help illustrate the power of us being responsible for our energy. And really, that's what I love about the Ho'oponopono. So I know people watching and listening to this are going to use it in their lives. Every time we talk about it in whatever format, in whatever show, we always hear remarkable stories of people saying, wow, I need to use that in my relationships. It's wonderful for relationships. And so then I began taking notes and being aware of when I would use it and start to speak it out loud. And it truly is the way out of the third dimensional realm into higher frequencies. And would you say it's a gateway to connect with the higher self? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because my higher self was the one speaking to me. I went
Yes.
under a hypnosis and I was regressed and I heard the voice of my higher self.
Yeah.
And when I was in that stress, that's the voice, the exact tone and no nonsense demeanor that
Mhm.
came through and said, say the Ho'oponopono.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
no, I was betrayed. What?
No, I
And
know.
it's our higher self. And this is the teachings that you do. We are going to be experiencing a beautiful meditation with you. I just want to say that that's coming up in a moment. But you are also in the teachings and the workings that you offer. There is deep work on this higher self connection, expanding multidimensional awareness, connecting with the higher self. It's very important. And I know that that creates the highest benevolent outcomes when we connect with our higher self in that way. We've heard the sages say, you know what you know within you. And so we know what we know within us. That's our higher self speaking. So there's some workshops that you're going to be teaching. Can you explain a little bit more about what you're going to offer and how this will assist those who join connecting with the higher self?
Well, for me, everything is about that. Everything, as you know, I started this group, everything is sacred because our life is sacred. And so every single moment, we have the moment to connect with our spark of the divine within. And so these workshops, well, some of them are pre-recorded because I actually, before I said yes to you doing this, is my first time showing up, and I wanted to do a beta offer. And as you know, we were experiencing a potential fire nearby, and so I've been working with people, and it's been so beautiful because we're using the chakras, like starting with the soul star chakra. The teachings, the video teachings, are going to be about how everything is stored in our soul star, and then it drips into our chakras, and there we experience our lessons and our gifts and all of this awareness of how we sabotage, how we betray ourselves, how the shame, the guilt, the blame, all of these things show up in the tribal energy that keeps us locked in, and explaining how the chakras, the first three are our physical experience, and they're very tribal, and that it's the heart, it's this that opens. And this is what I'm doing tonight with the group I'm working with. And I'm so excited because this is where we do the shift and we begin to experience ourselves as sacred, as multidimensional spiritual beings. And so we get to experience both physical, material, creating, and then also connecting to source, connecting to the higher self. And then the teachings, then when we meet privately for the 4 sessions, that's going to be all about soul, our journey, all of it. All of it is about our karma, understanding how that works. And, I'm not an expert, but I have a pretty good sense of this is the journey. We're here to learn, we're here to experience, we're here to forgive, we're here to um, embody ourselves as these sacred beings, but all the while using ourselves and all the things that are going on the outside as a reflection of what needs healing. And because I do connect, with the intergalactics now, and I feel, and the Divine Mother, she's so present. She's so present for us. And so it's bringing in, it's part of it is teaching during the live sessions, but part of it is as a group sharing our journey, receiving the healing, opening up to using our voice, expressing ourselves, allowing ourselves to really connect with our authentic parts, the essence. And so, it's all about that, and people feel safe. It's a safe place. We're all on the same journey. We're holding space. And so I'm excited because part of it is teaching videos that they get, and the other part is still learning, but also a lot of experiential healing practices to really, so they can take them out and use them themselves and continue and not have to come to someone like me or others. And at first, yes, we need to, but eventually it gets to the point where you understand you are the healer. You are the one you are the master. Like we're each the master of ourselves and we get to create. And yet it's hard to understand that because, there is, we have to believe before life shows us. There's a period in between that it's not really confirming anything yet, but something in us, in our heart, knows. We recognize there's more to this journey. And so when we believe long enough and we start to shift our consciousness, then life shifts with us. Because that energy is always within us, but we have to tap into it.
Yes. And so tapping into it and our soul energy, how do how does one know when we are connected to our soul energy? How did you know?
Because everything else felt like I was almost in contraction. I was, I was always thinking what I needed to do. It felt tight. It felt restrictive. It felt like it didn't feel like flow. It didn't feel open. It didn't feel expansive. It didn't feel like love. It didn't, when we're in those energies of love and joy and gratitude and just being, appreciating who we are as just being in the moment and our awareness and, all of it versus like even yesterday, I can use myself getting nervous and thinking, oh my goodness, and the stories I was starting to go in, like for me, the perfectionist was overtaking me. And then I knew today when I woke up, I was like, okay, I'm connected. We're always connected. But when the mind, when that pattern, an energy pattern, which is a persona or an archetype, takes over, it literally takes over, and we have to be conscious of it. So that's part of what we will talk about is witnessing these parts, giving them a name, but being compassionate and having conversations with them and allowing it to, like, we're not trying to get rid of anything. We're just trying to shift its consciousness too. And we're taking it with us. We're not stomping on anything, trying to get rid of anything. It's, like the divine. There's nothing in us that the divine doesn't love. It's the same. The divine is in everything. So even the things we deem as unworthy and horrific, it wants to experience things. And so we have the power of changing. We are the ones that have to change that first. And then life meets us once we shift our consciousness.
Life meets us once we shift our consciousness.
Mhm.
Beautifully said. Wow. All right. So I just want to share a little bit next on what we're going to do. We're going to close because the meditation that you're offering is so beautiful. It's going to leave us in a very tranquil space. And so we're going to end this program with that. And I wanted to direct everyone watching and listening to scroll down on this webpage and take a look at the classes that you'll be offering. Again, those classes are highly supportive and very expansive and really putting one fully in their soul energy.
Mhm.
Your assistance will help people feel that soul energy. And that is a great tool. And as you mentioned, there's healing tools that you will be sharing so people can navigate the world in their sovereignty, in their life. It's always
Yes.
good to go to healers for outside facilitation of this inner work, and that's available as well. So it involves intergalactic healing. Now, that word is very intriguing, and that's what you're offering as well. What is intergalactic healing and
That's it.
the Omega
Sorry.
Council that you work with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is such a wonderful question that I don't even really know. Loren, it's funny because when I was and when I met with Charlotte Shanti, and she was all about this connection, and there was a part of me that was so uncomfortable, which was only not even a year ago. And then, as we shift, as we go through the healing and the layers are peeled back, and then our previous lifetime gifts and blessings and all these things that are available to us come online that were already there, but they are activated. And so all of a sudden I felt very drawn. It's like they're calling me. I dreamt about them. They connected with me. And so of course I pursued that with Jean. And so now their energy is growing because I'm using it on others more and more now. And I offer a free monthly healing circle too. And anybody I meet with, I'm always, in fact, when you and I, before we met, I connected.
Mm.
And so they're a part of this conversation right now, too. And it's so beautiful because the energy is so powerful. And it's just, you can feel it in the expansion. And that's part of what they're doing is they're helping us remember our sovereignty. They're
Mm.
helping us remember our oneness and our unity and love. And they're shifting our consciousness. They're allowing us, helping us drop into the connection with our higher self. But we have to take the first step and say, I think I'm ready. And even if we don't really know, because I remember it's like, I don't feel that connection, but look where I am 8 months later. I didn't. And the Divine Mother, I didn't feel her before. And now she's such a beautiful part of our journey. And I recognize that she's here for all of us. And so for me, all of it's sacred. I don't know which one works more. I think they all blend and weave together. And it's whatever we're drawn to. So each one of us is going to be unique. And so I would say with the intergalactic healing, what will happen is people will start to, mm, some of the layers will begin to drop so they can open the heart.
We are supported in so many ways by interdimensional beings, intergalactic healers. And so without our mind having to wrap around it, knowing this and seeing how your life has transformed from it is a good case in point, and what we can all reach for. And it's so beautiful. And I want to just say the personal session, can you share, you have a beautiful offer. It's very, very affordable. It is like a acupuncture session. It's like it's equivalent, the cost is equivalent to one acupuncture session, but this is like an acupuncture session for the intergalactics to begin to work with us and flow the energy to us. What happens in your sessions, your one-on-one sessions? Can you share a little bit about that?
Honestly, it's almost like what we are doing. Because when I first took this with Jean, I said,
You named
I can't just do the sending the energy and sit in silence. I have to be, my gift is connecting with the soul.
it. Okay.
That's, it's this is sovereign being to sovereign being. It's this beautiful heart to heart connection. And so I guide and talk, and then the energy is flowing, and they're doing their part. And I'm doing my part by allowing, switching, bringing, letting the emotions surface, and allowing, simply allowing, and holding space. And whatever wants to surface, I think part of it is finding a safe place where we feel like we can fully trust this person. We can fully let whatever wants to rise up. Like for me, I'm going to use myself as an example. Rage is part of, my dad didn't believe in anger at all, at all. And so as a child, I had to stuff it. And yet I grew up in an environment that there were a lot of circumstances that made me angry, but I had to push it down. So what did I do? I attracted a man and married a man who was filled with rage. So part of my journey was letting that, allowing what is in me that's been so repressed that I'm not even conscious of. Because when it was first brought up to me, it's like, I don't have rage because it's not safe. So, this is part of it. Somebody trusting me enough that the intergalactics, because we are the healer, so we have to show up first for ourselves. And then real healing can happen because we need to be conscious of what one little thing at a time, pulling back another layer and another layer. We've got many, many, many layers. And so this is a fast track to that because it's available. As you know, the energy is available to us right now. This is a beautiful time for anybody who wants to shift their consciousness and to be in that divine energy. We can do it. Each one of us can do it. There's not one person who cannot do this with our intention.
Yeah, so no matter where people are, that's really informative for and inspiring for those watching who are light workers that want to assist our planet. Because why am I thinking of that show, The Biggest Loser, where some people who are on that show are absolutely huge to the point where one might say, I give up. But that show inspired so many to not give up. And that's what we say when we say life meets you. So wherever someone's at, we just begin right there. And it's the same with healing. No matter what went on, no matter how large the issues are or the trauma was, we can begin somewhere. And by doing these tools little bit by little bit, working with facilitators like you, doing that inner work, taking classes that help us make that connection, then we're able to peel those layers back. And there's so many layers, but what would you say about our own ability then to continue that work without a facilitator? Because it's almost like we're building a muscle, and as we get used to it, it's going to be easier. I don't even know if that's the prep. I don't know if any healing is easier, but we will be able to identify things on that healing path, and it will be faster once we move through the initial stages. What do you think about that? Do you agree that we can get to a point after doing it initially, we get to a point where we're going to be sovereign? Is that how you see it?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And yes, you know, there, even when you get to the stage that you're at and that I'm, you know, wherever we're at, we all need, like, there is something about having a mentor, having somebody who's a level a bit above you and can bring in the wisdom that we don't quite know yet. Yet, I will say though, within us is everything we need. But sometimes it's hard to continue to show up because life, as we switch vibrationally, mm, everything around us doesn't always match our vibration. And so that can be uncomfortable. And so at the beginning, it's awareness. For me, it's not so much what the healer does, it's the information, it's the wisdom that is brought in that allows the person to understand that they are on this journey. And it's just like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it now. And so no matter what you're going through, like I'm working with somebody whose mother is about to transition. And when I first see her, she's in like tons of tears and then, you know, feeling it. And I get it. And yet when we're done, she's in her sovereignty. She knows that she will be connected. And her mom was already with us in consciousness, even though she hadn't yet transitioned. Her
Mm.
higher self, an aspect of her, was already in conversation with us yesterday. And the camera was doing wonky things. And you know, it was very beautiful to know there was an aspect of her mother already with her, even though she hadn't transitioned. So we just have to move beyond the mind and allow ourselves to open up to all these dimensions that are available. And so sometimes we need that support a little bit, but not because you need that person. It's rewiring, you know, it's our consciousness and our unconscious that has to be shifted. You know, I took trauma training and I loved it. And I didn't complete it because for me, the eighth chakra, the divine, is what heals the trauma. And the ways that we do it as the personal self. I can only lead people home. I
Mm.
can't work with the ego. I can only work if you're willing to see yourself as sovereign and sacred. And so,
And for that, I want to say, welcome home, everyone. Welcome home. Sherry is a beautiful soul who assists you back to that remembrance of your pure essence of source. So beautiful. Thank you, Sherry. It
mm,
is so lovely. And again, you're an inspiration for all of us to just let go and be in the heart. And you do it so well in the face of everything. And that's what we're experiencing on this planet. So literally, you've shifted us, and the meditation's going to really shift us too.
mm,
But this is where, in the face of everything, if we can remember this tool, the tools and tips that you shared with us today, in the face of everything outside of us, because it's just the triggers within us then that we're concerned about. And so any triggers that come along, just come back. I can feel that. I can sense it. And when I do, I don't even want to name things that I could say take me away from this. But now it makes so much sense that that's all within me. Nobody's to blame, but how I show up and deal with it. And so that peace aspect is really wonderful. So I encourage those watching and listening to check out Sherry's special offer. Just scroll down on this webpage You will find it is very affordable. She's got a beautiful price option on both of those items. And you get to work with Sherry and be in high vibrational space, supportive space, life transforming space. And your world will change in these little shifts that you will notice. Maybe at the end of one day, definitely at the end of one week, definitely at the end of one year. It's magical. And it becomes boundless in time, no time when we begin to journey with this work. So thank you for offering the classes and the one-on-one personal session. That is a very great price, both of those. So check it out, everyone. We are excited to have you work with Sherry and be in a vibration of you that she helps you get to.
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay. So
Thank you.
you are welcome. Thank you. So we are going to do this meditation, leaving everybody with this meditation. I want to give you a moment to share any thoughts or words about it.
I think the wisdom that can be shared is to allow yourself connecting with your breath, recognizing that the breath that breathes you is your spirit. So, first of all, do that. And second, when you bring that person in, you're in your heart. You understand that this isn't about the personal self. This isn't about what has happened. This is about forgiveness. This is about opening yourself up to allowing yourself to open your heart. And so, one other thing I would really love to add about forgiveness, we always think it's about forgiving somebody else. But what it is about opening the space for more of our soul energy, more of our higher self to come in when we lay it down, lay it down, let go.
Beautiful. Okay. I can already feel that. And the word surrender comes to mind, comes to heart.
Mhm.
Okay. Sherry Lynn, thank you so much for this today. Everyone, please enjoy this meditation. Use it as you walk on our earth and walk in your frequency, in your connection to your soul and your higher self. Thank you. And Sherry Lynn, I want to give you a few moments to say goodbye. Thank you.
Mhm. First of all, Loren, before I say goodbye to everybody, I just want to acknowledge you and thank you for this another amazing opportunity. And you are proof that when we open our hearts and we follow the spark of the divine, the call, our heart's desire, that we can shift the outer external reality into what we are here to do. So tears come, and then those that are connecting, I just can feel you and I thank you and I'm so grateful that you're here, and I hope that you too can feel the beautiful energy that's flowing in because it is so beautiful and it's so powerful and I'm really truly grateful that to allow yourself to drop into the little wisdom that wants to come through each one of you and to follow it and see what happens, see the shift. And I thank each one of you. And Loren, I love you so very much. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity, holding this space, and having a beautiful, sacred conversation with me.
Thank you so much, Sherry Lynn. Exquisite. And
Mm.
thank you everyone for watching and enjoy this forgiveness meditation. We love you.
Yes, we do.
Hello, beautiful ones. I'm so glad that you're here with me for this wonderful healing meditation. This meditation I learned from Cindy Dale, who learned it from Lisa Barnett, and each one of us has been changing it slightly. So I'm thrilled to offer this to you as I've found it so healing for myself as well. And with that, I invite you to get comfortable and to close your eyes and to join me on this healing journey. Just begin to connect with your breath, to feel it. Notice that this breath breathes you. This is the breath of spirit. None of us usually pay attention to that, but if we did, it's that simple to connect. And so what you're going to do is you're going to bring to mind somebody that you're currently having some kind of a difficult time with. Nothing traumatic, just somebody that you don't see eye to eye with and that you just wish that things could be a little bit better, that you could both understand each other. I'm just going to pause for a second and allow you to think about that person, because you're really going to be connecting energetically with them today, and there will be healing that happens. So calling to your mind this person and actually bringing their energy to you, as if they were sitting across from you in the same room that you're in. Now you're going to call in your higher self, and you're going to request that the higher self of this other person join you too. Because we're going to drop the personal self. We're going to allow the ego to soften and our heart to open, and to see from the lens of love, from the lens of the divine. So once you have this person with you that's sitting across from you, we're going to begin this beautiful meditation where we're bringing in the infinity symbol. It's going to be this gold and liquid light that is running through the infinity symbol. It's passing through, and if it helps, you might even want to use your hand to feel the energy moving, because it really is. This is being created right now. And so you're going to connect with this person from your heart to theirs, heart to heart, soul to soul. So just noticing that the energy is passing from you, crossing over and meeting them in their heart, crossing over and then meeting you in your heart. Allowing your heart to open, to soften, and to expand, to be one with who you truly are. Just to begin to feel this energy. Really sense it. If you don't feel anything, that's okay. Sometimes it takes time. But to trust that this energy is flowing, it's flowing from you and it's flowing to them. And that you are connected higher self to higher self. That is your Christed self. Buddhic self. The essence of who you are. So what does that feel like for you? Do you know that you're connecting with this person from heart to heart? That your hearts are open, they're soft, you're holding compassion, understanding that each one of us is on this journey and sometimes it's difficult. We're bringing in memories from previous lifetimes. We're bringing in ancestral trauma. We're bringing in our own conditioned beliefs that happened before the age of 7. And we carry them around with us for the rest of our lives. Rarely ever questioning and jumping into judgment and blame and criticism. Right now, you're opening your heart so that you can come from a place of compassion and understanding that even though you may not understand what's going on, you're willing to become open. And you're willing to see it from the lens of love. So once you feel that energy, and you know the middle of this infinity symbol, that middle point, that still point, that void is where the divine meets you. It's where the divine is right now with you. As this energy is crossing over from you to this other person. This forgiveness is entering your field. This acceptance is entering your field. You feel that expanding. You feel the connection. I can feel it. So taking another nice deep breath, and now we're going to bring the awareness, your awareness up to your throat chakra. This is where we repress our voices, right? Or we often will say things out of anger. And it's not coming from the truth. It's not coming from the sovereign, sacred being that you are. And so you're going to allow this infinity symbol to connect at your throat and to connect with theirs. Using your hands to move the energy, to feel the energy. And to know that you're going to be allowed to express yourself just as the other person is going to. But as you express yourself, and I would encourage you to go and journal. But for now, in this meditation, we're just going to allow you to a moment to say what's on your mind, but to say it from a place. Remember, you're connected to your higher self, and the divine's right in that middle point there, meeting you. And so if you were to say something to this other person, expressing from the place of love, expressing from the place of compassion, but using your truth, using your words and sharing is that you would like them to know, most know, this is your chance, because it's going to their higher self and trusting that that's going to be received on an unconscious level. They may not consciously be aware of it, but something will shift. And even if it's the shift in you, it's a shift, because that's where healing begins. It begins with us. It begins with our consciousness changing. So it's not about the other person. So allowing yourself, what is it you need to say? What do you need to say, beautiful one? Allowing that to come through. Knowing that they're going to be given their moment to share with you what they really want to say too, and that you're going to receive on a level that you may or may not be aware of. But you're both going to be able to use your voice today. So anytime you're feeling that friction with someone, remembering all you need to do is begin to bring your conscious awareness to this meditation, to what happens, and speaking from the lens of love, speaking from your truth, speaking from kindness. Because we can say everything from the place of love and from a place of kindness, and be so much more powerful and effective than when we're coming from a place of anger. People shut down, including us. Using your hand to move the energy, moving the energy, moving it out. Feel the stream of angels suddenly coming in, and you can feel this loving energy pouring in from all around. Knowing that you are being held in so much love right now because you're willing to do the healing. You're showing up for yourself. You're coming from a place of self-love. This is what self-love is. This is what self-awareness is. We're becoming aware of the patterns that we're holding, and maybe even when we see these things in other people, realizing that's only merely a reflection of something that we're working on. And so this person has agreed on a soul level to be part of it. It's almost like a character that's been cast in a play. But this is the movie of your life. And it feels very real and very personal, but trusting, beginning to trust that this is all just showing up so that you can begin to this deep inner healing process of awakening and allowing these energies that we're moving into of unconditional love and unity consciousness. Well, we can't get there when we're harboring things like anger and frustration and bitterness. It doesn't happen. Your heart can't open that way. So you're being given this opportunity today to lay it down. Lay it down. Lay the personal self down. Allow the sacred sovereign being that you are to come forward. There's a song that I listen to over and over again, and it helped me with my healing. It's that song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and I found the most beautiful one, and I encourage you to go and Google the Rise Up Children's Choir. And it's the most beautiful song. And when you understand that peace begins with you, it truly does. It changes everything, and your heart does open. So whenever you're having a tough time and you're finding yourself in this place of whatever it is that's causing you to separate from your truth, from your sacredness, go and listen to that song, or go and listen to this meditation. Find a way. Even connect with your breath. So now we're going to bring your awareness up to your crown, to your third eye, And you're going to run the infinity loop again, using your hand again and feeling the energy. In this middle point where you meet the divine is going to allow you to see clearly, to see this differently now. And as you do, you feel this infusion of loving light pouring into you and pouring into this other person. This infusion is so big that you are becoming one with this person. You're merging, you're becoming one with the divine. This beautiful, radiant energy that's just pouring into you, pouring into this other person. Feeling yourself as this sacred I am. I am. One with Mother, Father, God. One with all of life. One with all of creation. I create my destiny. Feeling all of the love that's pouring in right now from the divine Mother, Father, God. From all of the angels, from your benevolent guardian angel, your higher self fully merged. What do you see now? Are you still angry? Or do you see something different now, beautiful one? Are you sacred and sovereign, loving and forgiving? You get to choose. So placing your hand on your heart and acknowledging that person for the very first time as them being sacred, and them agreeing to showing up to just highlighting something that in you needs to be healed. Allowing their energy to go back into their field, bringing your energy back into yours. Acknowledging the other person's higher self and letting them leave to disconnect. We're not quite done. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to flip the infinity from going horizontal and connecting to the other person to now going vertical and connecting your crown chakra to your root chakra and passing in the middle point in the heart. God is, where the divine is, where your beloved I am presence is. So allowing the energy from the loop, beginning at the crown chakra, crossing over, passing through your heart, dropping down to the root chakra and coming back up through the heart. Allowing your crown to fully open, feeling that connection with the divine, to seeing that you've never been disconnected from the divine. It's always been there with you. Never not. We just don't know. We forget. We've been conditioned for different beliefs. The only belief you need to have now is that you are loved and you are loved. And allowing yourself to feel that you are one with all of creation. You are a spark of the divine. And that you are here because you've always been meant to be here. This is the soul journey that you're on. And so as you feel that connecting with the root chakra, feeling that it's safe to be here, safe to move forward in the world, safe to take these steps, safe to be you. Okay, and now we're going to bring your awareness to you about 6 inches to 12 inches above your crown, to your soul star chakra. This is where karma and where trauma, all of that begins to get healed. But remembering that what happens is our heart has to open. And for our heart to open, we move through a lot of these things that are difficult in life. When our heart opens, we begin to experience ourselves as sovereign, as sacred, as soul. You become embodied as soul. You experience yourself as soul in this lifetime. You experience the divine within you. Isn't that worth letting it go? Laying down any of these things that are causing separation in you. And so now you're going to bring your awareness down to about 6 to 12 inches below your feet to the Earth Star Chakra, which is connected to all of your subtle bodies and connected to all of life. And again, passing in the middle, in the heart. And feeling, drawing the energy with your hands again, and really, 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 really feeling that. Because that's love, the energy of love that is passing through you, beautiful one. Feel it. Take a breath and feel your breath and know that you are connected to Spirit through your breath. Spirit breathes you. You don't get to choose when you take your last breath here. That's Spirit breathing life into you, always with you. So whenever you want to go into prayer, you don't need to say any words because the energy of the divine is right within you. It is a feeling. It's not a feeling of fear that we want to go into. It's a feeling of love. It's creating what you want to feel. And as it connects to the Earth Star Chakra, it's connected to all of your subtle bodies, including your transpersonal ones, and moving with you as you move about in the day. Remembering how beautiful you really are. That you are here for a reason. Each one of us is. We're all here to remember. To remember that we're love, that we're an expression of love, and to receive that expression of love through the divine, not through other people, even though that will come. But when we're receiving the love that we are, the love that we receive from others is going to be different. You will experience yourself as sacred. So placing your hands again on your heart, beautiful ones, and just acknowledging your higher self, all of your benevolent guardian angel, all of the angels and guides and ascended masters, and all of the beings of pure love for flooding you with this just beautiful healing light. And feeling the divine Mother, Father, God within you. And then when you're ready, I invite you to bring your awareness fully back in and scanning your body. Just noticing, what do you feel? Scanning your thoughts, your consciousness. Remembering your consciousness affects your energy field and your energy affects your consciousness. They're not separate. Feel connected. Do you feel expanded? Do you feel the love? You are love. With that, beautiful ones, I send each one of you love, peace, and blessings, and I invite you to come back to this as many times as you need to until you begin to experience that energy, that flow, that wave of love that ripples through you. And all I say is bye for now, beautiful ones. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.